We observe today not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago.
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago.
I remember I was actually sitting in my classroom at school when they came in and announced that he had been assassinated. And I remember walking home and talking with classmates about that and how shocking that was.
Everybody was horrified. It was just, it was almost one of the most unbelievable things that could have happened.
And I remember going into my house and my mom was crying and the news was on and they were going over and over the things.
I was 16 when he'd been shot. I was a freshman at Brandeis University. And believe it or not, I was in the girls' dormitory waiting to meet a girlfriend at the time. Everybody remembers where they were when JFK was shot, and sometimes it's a little embarrassing.
No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding. And from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary.
I was always very supportive of a president who was, by this time, fighting for civil rights, fighting for world peace.
He was revolutionary in his own right. He was able to stop the Cuban Missile Crisis, which is arguably probably one of the, greatest things that America has ever dodged.
Neither the United States of America nor the world community of nations can tolerate deliberate deception and offensive threats on the part of any nation, large or small.
The most important thing to learn about John F. Kennedy is he saved the world. Saved the world in the Cuban Missile Crisis by not listening to his military advisors, and he saved the world again when he negotiated with the Soviets the nuclear test ban treaty. JFK became the first president to put the moral stamp of the presidency against segregation and against discrimination, and he first introduced what became, under his successor, Lyndon Johnson, the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
That's very boxing.
He was a really charming president, and to say the least. He had a lot of personality. He was obviously inspirational, and a lot of people adored him, and they still do.
I think it was someone so young and a young family, and I think that was kind of new and refreshing.
I just couldn't imagine a world without JFK. I'd seen him in person in New York when I was 13 in 1960 and found him just an amazing presence.
I come to New York City on the steps of this old city hall and ask your support.
I actually got to see him. He came to my hometown in California and did a motorcade, and they ran my youngest brother over to him and he kissed him on the cheek.
He was very charismatic. I mean, he was very warm. He had a wonderful smile. I remember women just, would fall in love with him because he was a handsome guy.
He was a nice looking man.
I think many people of all political persuasion